Episode 5 of Forecasting Love and Weather starts with Hawkeye racing out the door, while Siwoo receives a call. He's flustered, telling whoever it is on the phone never to call again, and that he can't help anymore. Who is he talking to? That's something Hawkeye is wondering too when she heads upstairs to pick up her USB which she left behind. However, Siwoo drives Hawkeye to work, but on the way, he receives a call from Yujin, which he's quick to brush off. While they're driving together, Hawkeye wants to be dropped off to avoid making a big scene at work, but in the car next to them happens to be Shin Seoko. Hawkeye tries to make excuses for why they're together, but he actually doesn't seem to be that bothered. Meanwhile, Kai-jun and Yujin start their day by bickering with one another. The former is angry at her for lying and soon leaves, intent on cleaning up the mess she caused with her newspaper report. However, there are bigger problems going on at the forecasting center. Thanks to unusually high temperatures, there's a good deal of instability within the atmosphere. Specifically, the clouds seem to be hinting toward a large surge of localized heavy rain. Senior is late to the meeting though, but when he shows up, Director General Go takes him aside to talk. Go is concerned about his flustered demeanor and asks what's going on at home. Smiles thinly and shrugs it off, but it's clear things aren't going great. We've seen across the previous episodes that everything is very tense, but when leaves, he heads out drinking by himself. The workers gossip over behavior, chalking it up to not being promoted. Of course, the truth is hidden from them. That afternoon, Siwoo is confronted by Kai-jun, who calls him out for talking to the press. He reminds him that all of this needs to go through the office of spokesperson first. Siwoo bites back and claims the issue happened because of internal miscommunication, and suggests he come to the situation room and monitor everything in real time instead. Kai-jun believes that Siwoo's hostility and attitude, not to mention being Yujin's ex, is all a ploy to make him jealous. He believes Hawkeye is not over him, but a swift kick to the shin is enough to stop that nonsense. When she heads back inside, she takes Siwoo aside and looks set to scold him, until Siwoo leans forward and hugs her, in private of course. Hawkeye eventually admits that she's not angry with Siwoo, but actually annoyed that she missed the weather front. While these two patch up their differences, Kai-jun is still hot under the collar, and tries to make amends with Yujin, being all nice to her at lunch, but obviously hiding a more rattled edge, given what happened with Siwoo. However, they're interrupted by a phone call coming in, confirming about a rain echo in Seoul. Apparently it's become more severe, and the cloud patterns seem to reinforce this. In fact, a rumble of thunder outside paves way for heavy rain to torrentially fall across the region. Given this has come out of nowhere, and the KMA have failed to report it, the office begins to receive a whole litany of calls about the rain. Blames himself for this, and as Hawkeye begins reprimanding him, Sujin and Seoko both speak up. After all, they've been going over 10 years worth of data, and they remind her that had they been checking the radar instead, they may not have missed it. Hawkeye's brash attitude and stiff upper lip eventually sees Sujin leave, while the rest of the team are left fractured and conflicted. The Director General brings and Hawkeye into his office, where they discuss the devastation caused by the rain. Not only have there been power cuts and localized flooding, there are also 2 workers that have gone missing too. Takes responsibility, but Hawkeye is furious, pointing out that it's not his place to speak up, she's the one to blame. Meanwhile, Siwoo speaks to Sujin, and gently reminds her that Hawkeye's decision was one made with the best interests of the people. After all, analyzing all this data would have helped them come to a more rational and accurate prediction. It's just a shame that the heavy rain has interfered with that. The thing is, Hawkeye's orders aren't a problem. The real issue here comes from Hawkeye's confidence, or lack thereof. That's something one of the workers, Myung-ju, is quick to point out to their director later on that afternoon. She also hands over a USB with all the data she's asked for, encouraging her to look into this, and also reflect on what she said. Myung-ju picks up her kids from school and meets her husband. He wants to take his technical exam again, but that means taking a year off from work. The thing is, in doing that it's going to put a massive strain on their finances, so she's going to have to think this over. That night, the search gets underway for the 2 missing people. Both and Hawkeye show up at the emergency area, both unable to sleep. Thankfully, the 2 workers are found rather sharply, prompting them both to head out for some food. On the way, Hawkeye realizes that has left home given all of his belongings are in the backseat. She also learns he's lost motivation too, somewhere along the line, and he's stuck in a rut. Siwoo tries in vain to get through to Hawkeye, but between rings, he continues to receive a call from that strange number. Holding his head in frustration, he rushes outside and withdraws a whole stack of cash. Siwoo puts the cash inside an envelope and heads to a motel. On his way out, he runs into Hawkeye, who happens to be with a very drunk by his side. Another heavy rain downpour interrupts them both, as the episode comes to a close. So what is going on with Siwoo and who is he giving money to? This is a big point of contention, and it'll be interesting to see exactly what's going on with this. I'm sure we'll see more in the coming episodes. Siwoo and Hawkeye continue to exude great chemistry together, while the doofus that is Kai Jun continues to play up the comedy relief, albeit with a tinge of arrogance and intended unlikability. There's a good deal of levity about this, and it works really well to offset some of the more dramatic moments of the episode. One such example is Hawkeye's attitude toward her director duties, and the other workers are quite trite. She doesn't sound that authoritative or sure when giving out orders, which in turn reflects badly on the team, as they remain unsure whether they're doing the right thing. The ending here leaves things on an ominous cliffhanger, leaving the door wide open for where this one may go next.